Hello, hello. I am here to talk about trends. Trends. So, I actually just did a Get Ready With Me Instagram Live, and I ended up kind of riffing. I didn't have anything planned to talk about, and ended up talking about this and meant to save this so that I could publish it as a podcast and accidentally deleted it. Womp womp. So here I am recording a separate podcast on exactly what I just talked about. Such is life, right? Anywho, here is what I have had on my heart for a while. Let me know if this resonates with you. I have hired a ton of coaches. I don't even want to tell you how much money I've spent on coaches, and the vast majority of them have been well worth it. So that's not a bad thing. I have bought so many courses, so many courses. I don't even I would vomit if I actually probably added up the number, of money, the amount of money that I've spent on courses. Some of them have been worth it. Some of them have certainly not been worth it. Why am I giving you all this context? Because when I first started in business, almost 7 years ago now, I was the girl who never posted on social media. Never. Ever, 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 ever. I was the one who posted on Facebook twice a year, and one of those times was to thank people for wishing me happy birthday. And then the other time was a random third person post about what I ate or something really stupid. And it is just not in my nature to post on social media. If I didn't have a business, I probably wouldn't post very much on social media. And that's just the truth. Now, I have grown to love it for many, many reasons, and I am so grateful for social media. But it's just not part of who I am. I'm a Gen Xer, for God's sakes. Late Gen Xer, but a Gen Xer nonetheless. If you are a Gen Xer, first of all, shout out to you. Second of all, you know what I mean, that we didn't grow up with social media. So this is not inherent to my development in any way, shape, or form. If you're maybe a younger millennial and younger than that, then you grew up with this. And this is just kind of part of how you communicate. It's ingrained with you. But I did not grow up with this. And so not only that, but I picked a career for the last 23 years that discouraged me from expressing my personal opinion and discouraged me from sharing anything that made me stand out. So you kind of get all those mixed up together, and I had a pretty strong aversion to putting anything personal on social media. Now, I understand the value of social media, and I'm not dumb. I understand what it does for commerce and communication and all the good things about it. But it wasn't until I started a business that I started posting. And I didn't know what to post. I am not one of those people who just picked it up and was like, oh, I'm inherently really good at this. Those people that you follow on social media and they're just good at it. They never had to take a course. They just show up and they've got this magnetic personality and they're good at communicating and they shine on camera. That's not me. That's not me. Maybe a little bit, but it's certainly not how others perceive me. I probably have that buried somewhere deep and you kind of have to unearth it. But I digress. So what did I do? I hired coaches and took courses, and I followed what they said. And that has served me very well until about 2 years ago. A mix of me changing phases in my life, the frickin', pandemic and all that nonsense, moving across the country, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all of a sudden, everything that came somewhat easily to me in social media that I had learned, I had studied what to post and why, and psychology and why things resonate with people. And I put a lot of work into following things that coaches told me and testing and observing and experimenting and failing and doing it again until I figured out what worked really well. But all of a sudden, about maybe 2.5 years ago, it just felt off. And I kind of blamed it on the pandemic at the time. I was like, it's just too much going on. And I was going through fertility struggles and, and moving and blah, 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 stress, burnout, all the things. And that's what I blamed it on. And I said, well, when I'm kind of over being burned out, I'll get my mojo back and it'll be great. But I didn't really. So what I have figured out after a lot of introspection and a lot of therapy, let's be honest, and a lot of talking to coaches and a lot of really getting quiet and trying to listen to my own intuition, is that for years, I needed to follow the advice of coaches because I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know what to do because I wasn't self-assured in where I wanted to go in my business. All I knew is that I needed to sell a product and I wanted to make money. That's it. Not to be super blunt about it. Of course, I wanted to help people and I wanted to, better my family and all that kind of stuff. But at its core, I was like, I got to get on social media so I can sell some stuff. Let me know, DM me if that resonates with you, because I was like, this is where my motivation is coming from. But after a while, that kind of just wore off. And I'm going to say it maybe in a different way. I got to a point where listening to other people about what I should post on social media was no longer fitting where I wanted to go. And if you've ever felt this way, then you know what I'm talking about. It also got further complicated by the fact that everybody on social media has a different opinion of what you should post and when. And there are no shortage of quote unquote gurus out there that have built their own business a certain way. And because they've been successful in doing it that way, they think that's how everybody else should do it. You know what I mean? The problem with that is that not everybody is those people. And there's 100 ways, 1,000,000, 1,000, I don't know, whatever the number is. There's a lot of ways to build your business on social media. And at the beginning, you need a coach. You need direction. You need someone just telling you what to do to figure it out. I fully believe in that. But after you get to a certain point, you don't necessarily need a coach to tell you what to do anymore. What you need is someone to help you understand what is your vision for your business and who are you at your core. What lights you up? What is the format that you want to communicate to people through? Because I will tell you that you can find an example of success anywhere. So let's say that you came to me and I was your coach and you were like, Soraya, I just hate Instagram and I hate TikTok and I hate all of it and I want to reach my audience through Pinterest. I'm going to be like, okay, there are probably 100,000 other people with successful businesses that don't show their faces on social media and they use Pinterest to drive traffic to their store or their site or whatever. It's not what I would recommend. It's certainly not what I'm an expert in by any stretch of the imagination. But could you do it? Yeah, absolutely. Is it what I coach people to do? No, but you can do it. Or Soraya, I want to use YouTube. Awesome. There's 1 billion people out there using YouTube and YouTube only to drive their business. You get my point, right? So it's not so much of what you should be doing, in my opinion. This is kind of what I've landed at after, like I said, 2+ years of really figuring out why I felt so uneasy. I felt uneasy because I didn't want to listen to other people anymore. And I got to a point where I knew where my vision was, and I knew that I needed to stay true to what I wanted to do. Because the moment that I veer off the path and I just blindly listen to someone telling me what to do, it served me well in the past, but now in this phase in my business, it makes me feel icky. It makes me feel like I'm doing things out of obligation and not out of creativity and genuine connection and service and excitement. And that drains me when I'm not in that energy. So my question to you is, what do you get excited about? What do you get excited about? Do you like to speak to people? Do you like to write? Do you like to be on video and be creative and funny? Do you like to sing? I don't know what it is, but there is a way to success that is found through the things that you're passionate about. Now, if you're like, look, I don't know what I'm passionate about, then just keep going. Keep going. Because eventually you're going to be like, ooh, this is it. This is what I love to do. Look, I've probably told this story 1,000,000 times before in this podcast, but I started this podcast, 4 years ago or whatever. I can't even remember when I did. And at the time, everybody and their mother did not have a podcast. Now everybody has a podcast, which is fine because there's enough listeners to all go around. But when I stood up in a room full of my peers and top earning network marketers and said, I'm going to start a podcast, everyone was like, huh, okay. And I was like, no, this is really what I want to do. Everybody else was talking about Facebook Lives. This is, just for context, like this is what the phase of like what social media was hot at the time. It was all Facebook Live. This is pre-TikTok, blah, blah, blah. Pre-Reels. Facebook Live was it, man. Live video. I don't even think Instagram Live was a thing at that point. So I was like, I want to do a podcast because you know what? My day at the time was spent sitting in the Pentagon working from 6 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. and then coming home exhausted. And I would do the Facebook Lives, but my energy was just gone. And at that point, Facebook Lives, you wanted to get all the people live on your video. It wasn't like a reel where you could film anytime and people will eventually get to it. Like you wanted to get the max participation live. And I was like, you know what? There's got to be a better way. And what my theory is that I could look like hell and sit in my little podcast closet and record 2 or 3 podcasts on a night where I had a little bit of energy to give, or a Sunday morning, or a Tuesday at 2 a.m., or whatever time I had. And I could do it my way, and then I could drip those podcast episodes out over the week and drive people to listen to them because it worked for me, and I was excited about that idea. So when I announced this idea in the middle of this mastermind, I was like, okay, good luck with that. Nobody else is doing it, but have fun. And guess what? It worked amazingly. It's amazing. You're listening. Thank you for listening. It blew up. It blew up. With no ads, nothing. Like it just organically blew up. And look, I'm not like on the top 10, Apple iTunes list or anything. But you know what it did do is it brought tons of people to my blog, tons of people to my email list, tons of people to my business. I had people coming into my inbox saying, I want to join your team. I had people saying, hey, I'm already in some other company, but I want to try your products. And to this day, episodes that I recorded 3.5 years ago are still bringing people to me, people into my DMs, people into my Instagram account, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been the best for me, but it's because I wanted to do it and I got excited about it and it was my thing. Like that's how I like to do it. I don't have notes for this. I sit down, I turn the recording on and I talk because I love that medium and I feel like I'm connecting with you and I feel like you and I are sitting here. Like I know that someone is listening to this driving their kid to school. Someone is listening to this on their lunch break. Someone is listening to this on their treadmill. Someone is listening to this while they're doing dishes. Like, I love that. I love that. I just get excited about it. So I'm saying all of this to get to the point that this lights me up. I love Instagram and all things Instagram. I have grown to love it. Now it's my baby. But Instagram and my podcast are the things that I get excited about. Yeah, I'll post on TikTok every once in a while. Yeah, I'll post on Facebook every once in a while, but it doesn't light me up. Does that mean that those platforms are bad? Hell no. Does that mean I'm telling you not to be on those? No, absolutely not. What I'm telling you is you need to figure out what excites you. Because too many coaches are out there saying that you need to be on all platforms all the time, all day, every day, which for some people can work, especially if you're full-time in network marketing. You can force yourself to do this. For so many of us, we have jobs and kids, and we don't have a lot of time to do this in our day. So you've got to be wise about how you spend your energy. Too many people talk about where you spend your time, and not enough people talk about where you spend your energy. It's not the time that we're short on, because I bet you're making time for the things that you love. The question is, what do you love? And if you love it, you will make time for it. I will make time for my podcast. I will make time for Instagram. 100%, no questions asked. Nobody has to force me to do it. No coach has to tell me to do it. I need people to remind me to post on Facebook. Like, I'm just being transparent. That's where we're at right now because it doesn't light me up. Again, don't take away from what I'm saying that that's a bad platform. It's not. It's great. I know people who have made 7 figures very quickly just by posting on Facebook. So it doesn't really matter what platform you're on or how you communicate to people. You want to write? Start a blog. You want to talk? Start a podcast. You want to be on video? Use live video. what lights you up and what will you show up for? Now, let's get a little bit bigger in this thought. What is your vision for your business? What is your vision for your business? Every time I ask someone that I'm coaching, like not every time, maybe 9 times out of 10, I get, well, I just want to sell some makeup, or I just want to, whatever the product is, right? I just want to sell some hair care products or some solar panels, whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but why? like you didn't wake up when you were 5 and dream of selling makeup on the internet. Why do you want to do that? So we need to start asking ourselves why. And inevitably, the next answer is, well, quite frankly, I need to make some extra money. Okay, well, why? Well, because making some extra money will allow me to not stress about paying my, whatever bill, putting money away. It'll give me a little bit of a cushion, whatever it is. I want to save more for my kids' college fund. I don't know what it is, but inevitably it comes down to people want more money. And when you talk about, okay, well, got it, but why do you want more money? Like, what does that get you? So we ask why again. We'll ask why one more time. Well, it'll allow me to breathe a little bit easier and show up a little bit better for my family. Why? What do you mean? Well, it means that I don't have to be so distracted, and maybe I can spend some time with my kids at dinner at night instead of trying to, do all these other things that I'm trying to do. It would mean that I don't have to work a shift on Saturday morning, so maybe I could go to my kids' soccer match. It would mean that maybe I could dial back on my hours or quit my second job so that I can be present for my spouse. Or maybe it's not about kids or a spouse. Maybe it's that I just want to rest because I deserve it. And I want to do things in my spare time that I haven't been able to do. I want to garden. I want to hike. I want to travel. I want to do all these other things because I want to connect with my family and meet people and travel the world, right? These are all things that we all want. Maybe not necessarily those specific hobbies, but the universal thing is that we want more freedom to choose the things we love in life, whatever that may be. So I'd challenge you to ask yourself, why are you in this business? And I bet you $100 that if you ask, okay, why do you want to do that thing? And then why do you want to do that thing? And you ask why 4 or 5 different times, you're going to get to the core in it. And it all comes down to having the ability to choose how you spend your time. That's what we're after. That is what we're after. That is universal. So let me kind of wrap this up. We need to figure out where we're going in our business. Why are you showing up for your business? And if you're not, you're probably not thinking about what it can do for you, or maybe it's just not your thing, and that's cool too. But why are you showing up in your business? Why did you commit to doing this? Why did you take a chance? What is the promise that you're hoping for? Now, once you have that in mind, think about the tactics of it. How do you want to show up in your business? Don't just let some coach, including me, tell you that this is how you should, because that will not usually work. Or it may work for the first couple of years in your business, like it did for me. And then you'll get to a point where you're like, this doesn't feel right. You need to figure out what feels right for you. And this will probably take getting silent, getting quiet, experimenting a lot, feeling a lot of things that you don't like doing until you finally figure one that does. And then I want you to double down on it, and I want you to dive in. I'm not saying just show up on one platform. What I'm saying is if it feels good to you to focus on 2 different things, then those are the 2 things you should do. If it feels good to you to start a podcast or to be the live video king or queen, then that's what you should do. And you should go for it big time, unapologetically. Unfollow all the people telling you that you need to be doing all the things all the time for everybody, and do the things that come natural to you. Then, as you see success with that, start adding other things if it meets your vision in your business. What I think you'll find is by approaching it this way, you will find clarity in your own decisions, and you will trust yourself that you know what you're doing. A coach is great. I will coach people all the time. I need coaches. I will always have at least one coach in my corner because I need people to bounce ideas off. I need people to give me different perspectives, but that doesn't remove my requirement to listen to my own intuition on how I should run my business. Now, I hope that was helpful for you. Even if it didn't give you anything specific, I would really, really encourage you to sit down in the quiet and just think about, what do you want your business to look like? What do you want it to look like? This exercise here, sitting down and saying, what do I want my business to look like, was an exercise that I assigned myself a little over a year ago, about last October. And I literally wrote out, this is like what I want to do. This is when I want to get up in the morning. This is what I want to do when I get up. This is what I want to spend my time on, et cetera, et cetera. And when it came time for me to change network marketing companies, I found one that fit my vision of my business. Do you know how big of a deal that is? Like, I don't want to get into the specifics, but I chose a company based on my vision. I didn't create a vision of my business based on the company or the product. That is huge. And I'd love for you to get there. Some of you are not going to be there right now, and that's totally fine, especially if you're new in business. Don't stress about it. But it is worth sitting down and figuring out, how do you want your business to go? A similar exercise is, how do you want your days to be? How do you want to spend your time in your days? And for me, it is creating content, connecting with people, helping people look better, helping people feel better, mentoring people in their businesses, teaching them how to create content and build their personal brands. And I found a format that allows me to do it, because that's what lights me up. So what lights you up? Is it doing makeup on camera every day and showing people really cool ways how to do your stuff? Is it talking to people about the benefits of having a home business? Are you a real estate agent listening to this podcast and you have a personal brand and you talk about the people in your town and the homes that they have for sale and, the benefits of living in different neighborhoods? I don't care what you're on social media for and how you're monetizing your social media, but it should be in line with what you're fired up about and what you're passionate about and what really, really gets you excited. And that may change over time, and fine, your business is always going to change and evolve, but at least you're building a business where you get to be authentically you. And that is when your passion and your X factor and your magic comes out. Because as long as you're following the rules of somebody else, you're going to be creatively stifled. You may not know it, but it'll come out in your energy. When you start to follow the rules that you've put in place for yourself and do the things that really get exciting for you, you'll find that your personality shines through. Because again, remember, we can always find an example of success of someone doing those types of things. So get crazy, experiment a little bit, really spend some time in some silence thinking about what you want your days to look like and how you want your business to look like. And I hope that brings you some clarity. All right. If you would like, from a much more tactical standpoint, if you would like to get my guide on fill in the blank captions that will help you grow your personal brand, then head over to the show notes and click on the link. I hope I have this right. I think it's SorayaGoddard.com/captions. I just created some fill in the blank captions that the structure is all there, and you tweak them to whatever your situation is and whatever you're selling and whatever your business is all about. And those will help you communicate some of these deeper feelings, some of these deeper ideas. This is how you connect with your audience. So head to the show notes or to the link in my bio if you happen to be on Instagram and grab that caption cheat sheet. That'll also put you on my email list, and you will get notified of all sorts of things that are coming up. I haven't offered a course or anything like that for a while, but January, mark your calendars, that's coming. And it's actually pretty darn special, something I've not done before. So lots of goodness coming. So I'd love to communicate with you over email. All right. If you enjoyed this episode and you feel like sharing, because sharing helps me so much, then you can screenshot this in whatever app you're listening to this on your phone. Tag me, upload it to Instagram stories, and we can chat over there. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.